Hey guys, today I just want to do a quick comparison between the Saffun N64 controllers and the official Nintendo 64 controller. Now, I originally bought these third-party controllers off of Amazon 2 months ago, and during the unboxing I kind of made like a quick physical comparison between the two, mainly talking about what I could notice in the difference between the two at the time. But now that I spent a little bit more time playing with them and I've gotten the feel for them and whatnot, I thought I would let you know my thoughts after 2 months. Now, I mainly use these to play on my Nintendo Switch, specifically the online expansion pack N64 games. I don't use these for PC gaming on the emulators or anything like that. At least I haven't tried it yet. So everything from my perspective is going to be from the Nintendo Switch. Now, I'll start with the physical comparisons first. Like I said, between these two, the Saffun controllers feel a little bit lighter, and the texture is also slightly different. So the official N64 controller has, if this thing can focus, has more of a rough, matte kind of texture. It's more grainy, I would say, compared to the Saffun controller, which is a little bit more smooth, and it doesn't have that much of a texture to it, though it is pretty similar overall. And these buttons are actually clickier on the Saffun, so these have more of like a tactile kind of feel to them when you press, a little bit louder, and the official controller is more mushy. They just don't have that much of a clicky feeling to them. Similar to the original N64 controllers back then, the buttons were always kind of like mushy and this has that same exact feel. Also, as you can see, the actual physical layout of the controllers are different. This one looks pretty much stock, bare bones like your original controller. This one has your player indicator lights over here, and it also has your home and select buttons on the top, unlike the official controller. That is what you get over here. You get the ZR button, your reset, and your USB-C charging port. Both of these controllers use USB-C charging, by the way. Over here you can see this is where your player indicator light would be. There is your ZR button. Your home button is over here, and your snapshot button over here. Now, unlike the official controller, I don't think you can actually take snapshots with this controller. At least I haven't found a way to do that yet, because it's physically missing that button. Now, besides that, the controllers are very, very similar. The biggest difference is the analog stick. Yeah, so this has that octagon kind of edge, and when you're turning around you can feel each face of the edge there because it's not perfectly smooth. This is the exact same setup that you would get on an official N64 controller from back in the day. And compared to this, the Saffun controller, you can see it's perfectly round and smooth, and this means when you're turning it feels like a circle. There are no flat faces that this thing bumps up against, and even though the sides of the wall over there have that octagon shape, the actual bottom is a circular shape, so it's perfectly smooth when turning around. Now, this joystick is also smoother and easier to turn than the official one. The official controller joystick is a lot more stiff feeling. I forgot to mention that because the official joystick is a little bit stiffer, how it's supposed to be, I actually prefer this original joystick setup more than the Saffun controllers, because even though this is more light and easier to turn, it actually almost becomes too easy to turn, and sometimes when I'm aiming in games like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, what happens is I kind of steer too far to the left or the right because it's going way too fast because of how light it is. Of course, the games are designed around this original joystick sensitivity, so definitely I prefer this original joystick stiffness. But in most other games that aren't FPS and that don't require precise aiming, this joystick has been perfectly fine. That's the biggest difference between the two, is that joystick. This controller, the official one, does not use any dongle. It pairs to your Switch directly, but these two controllers over here use a dongle. Now that's a little bit of an inconvenience because you do have to plug them into your Switch dock, but at the same time that means you could use this with, say, other devices like your PC if you want to play on the emulator. It uses these two dongles right here, and you can see that I have a little piece of marking tape over here. And the reason why I did that is because each controller pairs with a dongle. So they look exactly the same, and I always grab the wrong one. So what I did was this one goes with the black controller, and I put this little tape here to know that when I'm grabbing this dongle, it's for this gray controller. So just a little something that I did to help differentiate which one goes with which. Battery life, I haven't really noticed anything really different between the two. They all last for many, many hours of play. So overall, everything is very similar with these controllers. Now, in terms of actual function between the controllers in the games, like I said, they're very similar, except this controller, the official one, is very bare bones. It is what it is. This layout is set and you cannot change anything. It's made for the N64 games and that's it. These Saffun controllers are more feature-packed, I would say. There are a bunch of different modes you can change to. There's modes for PC, your Switch, some classic and newer modes. And to switch between all the different modes, you have to press and hold different buttons and stuff like that. Now, that stuff is all cool, especially if you want to use this on different devices. But being that it's kind of complex also creates some problems. Now, what I mean by that is that I actually don't like how this has so many modes because I don't use any of the modes and it actually complicates things. So, for example, my brother is a lefty and he plays GoldenEye and Perfect Dark kind of differently from most people. I think most people like me, when playing GoldenEye or Perfect Dark, we aim with our left hand like that, finger on the Z trigger to shoot, and to aim, we press the right shoulder like that. But my brother plays in a weird way where he aims with the left shoulder button. So he plays like that. And what happens is on the Saffun controllers, if you hold that left shoulder button and the Z trigger, for some reason it swaps the two buttons. So what happens is whenever he's aiming in the game, the buttons will always switch and get messed up. So then this ends up becoming the shoot button and he has to aim here. And it's highly annoying for him, and honestly it makes the games unplayable for him, and he always has to use the official controller. So yeah, just stuff like that. Sometimes it's a little bit too complex and has too many modes. It can become a burden sometimes. And I honestly don't know when people would be swapping the left shoulder button for the Z trigger. At least I can't think of any right now. If you do think of something, let me know. But I think for most people, 99% of the time, we're just going to use the controller layout the way it is. So I don't think that should even be a feature, because it does mess up some games. It could mess up some games for some people. So yeah, whenever we play GoldenEye, he has to use this controller because these don't work. Other than that, guys, these controllers are really, really nice. I've been playing a lot of N64 on the Switch, and these make great spare controllers, especially at the price that you're getting two for the price of one, and they perform very, very similarly. Yeah, I've had a lot of people over and we've been playing the Nintendo 64 games, and these things have been working perfectly. We can all party up and play your Mario Karts, you know, GoldenEye, Mario Party, all of that stuff. We've been playing with these and they have been working perfectly fine. No issues with the Saffun N64 controllers. They feel really, really nice quality. So yeah, I would highly recommend the Saffun controllers, and that's my comparison between this third-party one and the official controller. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video helped you out, and I will see you all in the next video.